Business Program Administrator. And I'm interested in talking with Lisa Goldsand today. She's with Circular Thrift. And thanks for joining me. Welcome.
Hi, Sheila. It's always great to talk to you. Thanks for making time for me.
Great. Well, Lisa and I met a few years ago. You brought a group of interested residents and citizens to the landfill for a tour, and at that time, learned that we had mutually interest in the textiles and getting textiles out of the landfill. And not only that, it's a global issue, but it's also a very local issue. So I'm glad that you're here today to talk to us about Circular Thrift. What is Circular Thrift?
Yeah, so Circular Thrift is a project I started 2 years ago, which is focused on the target of zero waste for fashion and accessories at a hyper local level. So, Sheila, over the past couple of years, I've done a ton of test and learn. I've hosted, oh my gosh, I think I've hosted 25 events, either focused on mending, swapping, or collection. And the goal of the company is to create more awareness around the importance of, number one, reduced consumption, and then also to create and operationalize a way for communities to exchange all of the great clothing that they have bought, purchased, put away in their closets, and maybe are finished using, or maybe they purchased it in error, it's just not right for them. So finding ways to keep great clothing in circulation for longer before it goes to a national charity, or before it gets exported, or before it gets thrown away, because so many of the natural resources in what we wear are really spent in procuring the raw materials, so cotton or oil for polyester, um, or in making the fabric. So keeping everything in circulation, which is what my business is focused on, is a really, really sustainable way to approach the impact of global fashion production on the environment. The other thing that Circular Thrift does is we host quarterly mending events, which, same theme, really having people maybe cultivate a different and longer relationship with what they wear and like to wear by teaching them fun ways, easy ways to fix the things that are starting to wear out and keep them in their possession for longer.
That's great. So I can see the passion in your voice, and I think it's wonderful this venture that you're on. So can you also just share, like, how did you first get involved? Like, what, I guess,
Sure.
how did that percolate to the top?
Yeah. So I had a 30-year career, wonderful career in what would be referred to in our circles as the linear take, make, waste manufacturing model. So I worked for about 7 years for a very large denim manufacturer that made, oh gosh, about 1 million pairs of jeans a week during the back to school season. And then I joined Abercrombie and Fitch, and that's actually how I ended up here in Central Ohio. And one of the things that I talk about when I have conversations like this or when I speak is the system of linear production, the system that we all exist in, the way that we get the clothing that we love, the way that we function as consumers. It's complicated. And so we need to figure out how to evolve it so that a more circular mindset, circular product design, a different relationship around what we own, all of it needs collaboration, it needs ingenuity, and it really needs us all being patient with ourselves and with each other. And that includes being patient with companies that are also interested in doing things differently and maybe interested in being part of really good change, but may not have the resources to lead that change. So I have so much experience with, the established supply chain, and, I have wonderful relationships with that world. But I definitely think that the challenge of reducing consumption and really rethinking how we handle global fashion production is going to need collaboration with municipalities. It's going to need collaboration among consumers. So the whole thing is so interesting to me and so complicated. And where I got excited was, okay, brands want to do what their customers want them to do. So I thought to myself, well, what can one person do? And I decided that if I can figure out how at a local level to make it efficient, maybe even modestly profitable, effective, to seek a zero waste goal in fashion and accessories where I live, maybe that's something that could be repeatable in other communities, in other parts of the country, maybe in other parts of the world. And maybe then brands also can think about how to participate in that, slightly evolved and different model. So I think that consumers, customers ultimately are going to tell brands how they want them to show up differently, and brands will respond. I'm just trying to start by changing a mindset and changing behavior at the consumer level right where I live.
That's pretty cool. And I think you're making a big impact already locally. I mean, just the mindset shift to for reuse and to repair. I think more and more people are, it's like the right time, the right climate for that mindset too.
I think
Go ahead.
so. Sheila, I want to say one other thing that is, educating consumers, right, about sort of where we are in the world as far as recycling and circularity for fashion is another really thing about which I'm also really passionate. And one thing that I think it's really important for consumers to know is that the reality is, unlike, let's say, plastic or aluminum or paper, and I get super excited to bring people to the landfill at SWACO. I get equally excited to take people to Rumpke to see all of the amazing things that are happening with recycling, right? Unlike all of those categories of recycling that is scalable and profitable and that where there are clear local markets, textile recycling is very, very nascent. Only 1% of textiles are actually recycled into fibers to make more clothing today. And the reasons for that are very complicated, right? There needs to be a really different set of collaboration among businesses and municipalities than exists today. Products tend to have many fibers, and there's not the technology to recycle something that's multi-fiber today. So while I'm so interested in all of the companies that are emerging with new technology to make this something that's more normative, and I'm really optimistic that eventually this will scale and that we'll have the same sort of opportunities to recycle textiles that we do aluminum, paper, or plastic. It's just not there today. So the most important thing is to figure out, how do we really scale reuse? How do we make reuse like sexy? And that's really hard. And I have a zero marketing budget, but that's what's really important right now, just because those solutions just aren't yet there for textiles.
Shifting gears on you, the upcoming Fall Swap 5 is an event that you're hosting. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So my target customer with Circular Thrift is really consumers who maybe generally speaking can afford to buy new clothing, right? Because if we can make it sort of more normal and more predictable for people to show up at a community clothing swap where they see their friends and socialize, maybe learn a little bit about sustainability and fashion, but more importantly, bring 5 to 10 things. I think we changed it from 5 to 10 a month or two ago to increase the impact, but bring some things that are good quality that they just don't use anymore. The things that they see in their closet that maybe somebody else should own. Bring those things to this event. It's a social gathering. There are refreshments, there's music, right? There's fun people. And we put all those things out on a table, kind of organized by product category. Everybody hangs out a little bit, socializes. And then at this swap event, they then go and select new things that they're going to take home with them, hopefully replacing the purchase of a brand new item. So, the event is on Thursday from 6 to 8 at Flourish Studio, which is a for-profit social enterprise that's based just north of Bexley on Cassidy. And it's really a community event that people start to look forward to, and where people can affordably, potentially upgrade their entire wardrobe. So I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really well attended. And what I'm really excited to do in 25 and 26, Sheila, is find other people in other neighborhoods in central Ohio who might want to do the same crazy stuff that I'm doing, organizing these different events in their community to scale reuse and, reduce consumption kind of all on their own as leaders among their own cohort.
That sounds like a great idea. They could lead their own swap wherever
Yep.
they live. As we close down this interview here, I just want to remind everyone that you could visit recycleright.org. We do have a section in there for the search tool. You could put in textiles. There's some information that comes up. We're always improving and adding information as we learn more about options for textile recycling here in Central Ohio. So thanks, Lisa, for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a good day.